Over the next few days, Alex dedicated every spare moment to caring for Nova. They snuck food and supplies from home, scavenged blankets from the attic, and even stole a first aid kit from the school nurse's office when no one was looking. Despite the risks, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were meant to help her. Every time Nova's faint glow brightened slightly under their care, it felt like proof that what they were doing mattered. Nova, too, seemed determined to communicate. She began using her glowing patterns more frequently, projecting vivid images into Alex's mind. One evening, as they sat together beneath the stars, Nova conjured a breathtaking vision of her homeworld. Alex gasped as they saw floating cities suspended in the sky, connected by shimmering bridges made of light. The ground below sparkled with bioluminescent plants, and rivers flowed with liquid silver. It was unlike anything Alex had ever imagined. A paradise among the stars. But the beauty didn't last long. The scene shifted abruptly, showing dark shadows creeping across the land. These shadows devoured everything in their path. Cities crumbled, forests withered, and Nova's people fled in terror. Alex felt a chill run down their spine as Nova showed them glimpses of the creatures behind the destruction. Tall, insect-like beings with jagged limbs and glowing red eyes. Their very presence radiated malice. "They're called Vorthak," Alex murmured, piecing together fragments of Nova's thoughts. She nodded weakly, her expression grim. Through broken images and emotions, Alex understood that the Vorthak weren't just invaders. They were parasites, feeding on entire civilizations until nothing remained. Nova's ship hadn't crashed by accident. She'd been running from them. The revelation left Alex uneasy. If the Vorthak were powerful enough to destroy Nova's advanced society, what chance did Earth have if they followed her here? Still, Alex pushed those fears aside. For now, their priority was keeping Nova safe and figuring out how to get her back to her people. As days turned into a week, Alex noticed something peculiar about their bond with Nova. Whenever they touched, Alex felt a strange energy coursing through them, like an echo of Nova's own power. At first, it was subtle, a tingling sensation in their fingertips or a sudden warmth spreading through their chest. But soon, it became clearer. One night, while adjusting the makeshift shelter they'd built for Nova near the crash site, Alex accidentally brushed against her hand. In that instant, a surge of energy shot through them, and their surroundings lit up with a soft, golden glow. Startled, Alex stumbled backward. What was that?" they stammered, staring at their hands. Nova hummed softly, her glowing pattern swirling faster than usual. She pointed to Alex, then to herself, before drawing a circle in the air that connected them both. "You're saying we're connected?" Alex asked, realization dawning. Nova nodded, her expression both apologetic and hopeful. Whatever had happened during their initial meeting had created a link between them, a bond that went deeper than either of them fully understood. At first, Alex wasn't sure how to feel about this newfound connection. On one hand, it was exhilarating to share even a small part of Nova's incredible abilities. On the other hand, it terrified them. What if the Vorthak sensed this bond? What if helping Nova put not only themselves but everyone on Earth in danger? Despite these fears, Alex knew they couldn't turn away. Nova trusted them, and that trust meant everything. As they gazed at her glowing form under the starlit sky, Alex made a silent promise. No matter what happened, they would protect her, even if it meant defying the stars themselves. The night was unusually quiet in Silverpine, a small town tucked away between dense forests and rolling hills. 17-year-old Alex Harper sat cross-legged on the dewy grass behind their house, peering through a battered telescope that had seen better days. It wasn't much, but it was Alex's favorite way to escape the monotony of life. The stars above shimmered like scattered diamonds against the velvet sky, each one whispering secrets of distant worlds. Alex sighed softly, adjusting the lens to focus on a particularly bright cluster. They'd always felt drawn to the stars, as if they were promises waiting to be fulfilled. But tonight, something felt different, off-kilter, almost electric. A sudden flash streaked across the sky, followed by a deafening boom that rattled the windows of nearby houses. Startled, Alex dropped the telescope and scrambled to their feet. The fiery light disappeared into the woods just beyond the edge of town. For a moment, Alex hesitated. Curiosity tugged at them, but so did fear. What if it was nothing? Or worse, what if it was dangerous? Still, the pull was irresistible. Grabbing a flashlight from the shed, Alex slipped on an old jacket and ventured into the forest, heart pounding with every step. The air grew colder as they moved deeper into the trees, the beam of the flashlight cutting through the shadows. Twigs snapped underfoot, and the occasional hoot of an owl echoed around them. Then, Alex saw it, a crater surrounded by scorched earth, steam rising gently into the chilly night. At its center lay what could only be described as a ship, though nothing like anything Alex had ever imagined. Sleek and silver, it hummed faintly, as if alive. As Alex approached cautiously, a soft groan caught their attention. Beneath a jagged piece of debris, there was movement. Kneeling down, Alex gasped. There, partially buried but very much alive, was not human. The creature, if that was even the right word, had translucent skin that shimmered faintly, glowing like moonlight on water. Long limbs twitched weakly, and large, almond-shaped eyes fluttered open, locking onto Alex's face. Fear surged through Alex, but it was quickly replaced by something else. Compassion. Whoever, or whatever, this being was, it was hurt. And alone. Taking a deep breath, Alex set the flashlight aside and began carefully pulling away the wreckage pinning the figure down. The alien let out another groan, this one softer, almost grateful. When the debris was cleared, Alex knelt beside the injured stranger, studying them closely. The alien's body seemed fragile, almost ethereal, yet there was an undeniable strength in their presence. Their breathing was shallow, but steady. For reasons Alex couldn't explain, they felt no threat, only a strange sense of connection. "You're going to be okay," Alex whispered, more to reassure themselves than the alien. "I'll help you." Little did Alex know, this decision would change everything, not just for them, but for two worlds separated by countless light years. The discovery of the Vorthak's arrival sent a wave of panic through Alex, Mia, and Nova. The alien girl had sensed their presence long before they entered Earth's atmosphere. Her glowing patterns flickered erratically, and her hums grew strained, almost desperate. She pointed to her damaged ship, then traced a line across the sky with her finger, mimicking movement. "She wants us to fix her ship," Alex said, his voice trembling as he translated Nova's gestures for Mia. "She thinks she can escape if we get it working again." Mia frowned, looking skeptically at the battered spacecraft half buried in the dirt. "Fix it?" "Alex, we're not exactly rocket scientists. How are we supposed to repair something like that?" "We have to try," Alex insisted, determination hardening their tone. "If we don't, the Vorthak will find her. And maybe us too." With no other options, the trio sprang into action. Over the next 2 days, Alex and Mia scoured Silverpine for anything that might help. Scrap metal from junkyards, old car batteries, wires pulled from discarded electronics, and even pieces of an abandoned satellite dish they found in the woods. Each trip into town was nerve-wracking. They knew time was running out. The Vorthak's ship had been spotted hovering near the forest edge, its ominous silhouette casting long shadows over the trees. Nova guided them as best she could, using her glowing patterns to indicate which parts of her ship needed attention. Sometimes, when Alex touched the console or wiring, a jolt of energy surged through them, the same connection they'd felt before, but now it carried purpose. It was as though Nova's power flowed through Alex, helping them understand how the ship worked. Under her direction, they managed to piece together a rudimentary repair job. Meanwhile, Nova continued teaching Alex about her abilities. During quiet moments, she showed them how to channel the energy coursing between them. At first, it was clumsy. Alex accidentally lit up a patch of grass or made nearby objects float briefly. But with practice, they gained more control. They learned to focus the energy into bursts of light or shields of protection, skills that would prove vital if the Vorthak attacked. As the repairs neared completion, Alex couldn't ignore the growing ache in their chest. Saying goodbye to Nova felt impossible. She had become so much more than just someone they were helping. She was a friend, a confidant, a bridge to a universe Alex never dreamed existed. Yet, deep down, they knew she didn't belong on Earth. Her fight was among the stars, not hidden in a forest clearing. One night, as they worked by flashlight under the shadow of the looming threat, Nova placed her hand on Alex's shoulder. Her glow pulsed softly, filling Alex's mind with images of gratitude and farewell. "You're leaving soon, aren't you?" Alex whispered, their throat tight. Nova nodded, her expression solemn but resolute. She gestured toward the repaired ship, then pointed upward, signaling that she intended to draw the Vorthak away from Earth once it was operational. Mita watched silently, her arms crossed tightly. "Are you sure this is the only way?" she asked, her voice tinged with worry. "It has to be," Alex replied, though their heart ached with every word. "If we let the Vorthak stay here, who knows what they'll do? This isn't just about Nova anymore. It's about protecting everyone." Finally, the moment came. With a soft hum, Nova's ship powered on, its surface lighting up in intricate patterns. The trio stood back, watching as the craft lifted slightly off the ground. Testing its systems, Nova climbed aboard, turning to face Alex and Mia one last time. Her glow intensified, bathing them in warmth and light. But just as Nova prepared to launch, the forest erupted in chaos. The Vorthak had arrived. Their sleek insectoid ships descended rapidly, firing beams of energy that scorched the earth. Panic surged through Alex and Mia as they realized there was no time left. "Go," Alex shouted, pushing Nova toward the controls. "We'll hold them off." Nova hesitated, her eyes locking onto Alex's. Then, with a final burst of light, she activated the ship, launching it into the sky. The Vorthak immediately gave chase, their ships roaring after her like predators hunting prey. As Alex and Mia watched the ships disappear into the horizon, relief mixed with sorrow washed over them. Nova was safe, for now. But Alex couldn't shake the feeling that their journey together wasn't truly over. Somewhere beyond the stars, their bond still burned brightly, defying the vastness of space. Nova's signal came faint but clear, guiding Alex and Mia to a remote corner of space. Through their bond, Alex had communicated the urgency of disabling the tracker on Nova's ship. In response, Nova sent coordinates, not to her homeworld, but to an abandoned asteroid field orbiting a dying star. It was a perfect hiding spot, she explained through glowing patterns and flashes of thought. The dense cluster of rocks would mask their presence long enough to deal with the Vorthak and the tracker. But getting there was no easy feat. Using the energy Alex had begun to master, they managed to amplify Nova's weakened signal, creating a temporary portal that could pull them across vast distances. It was risky. Neither Alex nor Mia fully understood how it worked, but desperation outweighed caution. Holding hands tightly, they stepped into the swirling vortex of light, leaving Earth behind. When they emerged, the sight took their breath away. Thousands of asteroids floated in chaotic orbits around a massive crimson sun. Its surface roiled with fiery storms, casting eerie shadows across the jagged rocks. Nova's ship hovered nearby, its damaged hull reflecting the red glow. She greeted them with a hum of relief, her form flickering faintly, as if holding on by sheer willpower. "She doesn't have much time," Alex murmured to Mia, feeling the strain in their connection. "We need to act fast." Working together, the trio devised a plan. Nova revealed that the tracker was embedded deep within her ship's core. a nearly indestructible device designed to withstand extreme conditions. Removing it would require precision and energy far beyond what any of them possessed individually. But combined, that was another story. Under Nova's guidance, Alex focused their newfound abilities, channeling the alien energy coursing through them. With each attempt, they grew stronger, learning to manipulate the power in ways they never imagined. Mia, though unable to wield such forces herself, proved invaluable in strategizing and keeping watch for signs of the Vorthek. As they worked, Alex marveled at the wonders surrounding them. Strange creatures darted between the asteroids, some glowing like fireflies, others resembling living crystals. Once, a massive whale-like being drifted past, its translucent body shimmering with constellations trapped beneath its skin. Despite the danger, Alex couldn't help but feel awe. This was more than just a rescue mission. It was a glimpse into a universe brimming with life and mystery. Yet, the looming threat of the Vorthek kept them grounded. Every hour brought the risk of discovery closer. Finally, after what felt like days, they located the tracker nestled within the ship's core. It pulsed ominously, a beacon calling to their pursuers. "This is it," Alex said, placing their hand on the device. Energy surged through them, guided by Nova's steady hum. Together, they began dismantling the tracker piece by piece, each fragment sparking violently before dissolving into nothingness. Just as they finished, alarms blared throughout the ship. The Vorthek had arrived. "They're here," Mia shouted, panic rising in her voice. Outside the viewport, 3 sleek ships emerged from behind an asteroid, their weapons trained on Nova's craft. Nova gestured urgently, her glowing patterns frantic. She pointed to the controls, signaling for Alex to take charge. "What do you want me to do?" Alex asked, fear gripping their chest. "Fly," Nova replied, not in words, but in a flood of images and emotions. Trust, courage, hope. With shaking hands, Alex gripped the controls, guided by Nova's energy. The ship roared to life, darting between asteroids as the Vorthek gave chase. Laser beams sliced through space, narrowly missing them at every turn. Mia clung to the edges of her seat, shouting directions while Alex navigated instinctively, their connection with Nova making the ship an extension of themselves. The chase reached a fever pitch as they approached the dying star. Heat radiated through the cockpit, and the ship groaned under the strain. Then, Nova made her move. With a final burst of energy, she overloaded the tracker's remnants, turning it into a makeshift weapon. A blinding explosion erupted, engulfing the nearest Vorthek ship and forcing the others to retreat. Silence fell as the dust settled. Nova slumped against the console, her glow dimmer than ever, but she smiled weakly, her gratitude shining brighter than any star. "You did it," Alex whispered, tears welling in their eyes. They had defied impossible odds together. And though the battle wasn't over, one thing was certain: their bond had changed them forever. As the days passed, Alex found it increasingly difficult to keep Nova hidden. Their frequent disappearances hadn't gone unnoticed. At school, whispers spread about Alex acting strangely, skipping lunch to stare at trees, sneaking out of class early, and showing up tired with dirt smudged on their clothes. Even their parents started asking questions, though Alex brushed them off with vague excuses about helping a neighbor or working on a science project. But the biggest challenge came when Mia, Alex's best friend since childhood, decided to investigate. One evening, as Alex slipped out of the house under the pretense of walking the dog, Mia followed silently from a distance. She trailed Alex through the woods until they reached the clearing where Nova's ship still lay partially buried. Hiding behind a tree, Mia watched in stunned silence as Alex knelt beside the glowing alien girl, tending to her wounds. For a moment, Mia froze, unsure whether to run or confront Alex. Finally, curiosity got the better of her. Stepping into the open, she called out hesitantly, "Alex, what is this?" Alex spun around, panic flashing across their face. "Mia, You shouldn't be here." They stood quickly, blocking Maya's view of Nova as if trying to shield her. "Don't give me that," Maya said, crossing her arms. Her voice wavered between anger and disbelief. "What are you hiding? Is that an alien?" Before Alex could respond, Nova moved slightly, her faint glow illuminating the clearing. Mia gasped, taking a step back. For a brief second, fear overtook her. Her instincts screamed to flee. But then something unexpected happened. Nova hummed softly, her melodic tone calming and soothing. The tension in the air eased, and Maya found herself stepping closer instead of running away. "She's not dangerous," Alex said quickly, sensing Mia's hesitation. "Her name is Nova. She crashed here, and she's hurt. I'm just trying to help her." Mia stared at Nova, her wide eyes filled with awe and confusion. "You've been keeping this asterisk a secret. Are you insane? Do you know how much trouble we could get into?" "It's not about us," Alex replied firmly. "She's running from something terrible, something that destroyed her world. If anyone finds out about her, she'll be in danger. And maybe Earth will be too." The gravity of Alex's words hit Mia like a punch to the gut. She glanced back at Nova, whose glowing patterns shifted gently, almost apologetically. Slowly, Mia nodded. "Okay," she whispered. "I won't tell anyone, but you're going to need my help." At first, Alex resisted. Bringing Mia into this felt like putting her in harm's way. But as the days went on, they realized they couldn't do everything alone. With Maya's help, they devised a plan to fortify Nova's hiding spot, using fallen branches and tarps to create a makeshift shelter that blended into the forest. Together, they scoured books, websites, and even conspiracy forums for information about extraterrestrial life and advanced technology. Though most of it was nonsense, some tidbits proved useful, like how electromagnetic fields might interfere with tracking devices. Despite their teamwork, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Mia often questioned whether helping Nova was worth the risk. What happens if those things chasing her show up here? She asked one night as they worked on reinforcing the shelter. "We're talking about aliens, Alex. Advanced aliens. What can we possibly do against them?" "I don't know," Alex admitted quietly, glancing at Nova, who rested nearby. "But I can't just leave her. Not after everything she's shown me." Mia sighed, shaking her head. "You're crazy, you know that. Completely nuts." But there was affection in her voice, along with a hint of admiration. Deep down, she understood why Alex felt so strongly about Nova. And maybe, just maybe, she was starting to feel it too. By the end of the week, their bond had grown stronger, not just between Alex and Nova, but among all three of them. As they sat together under the stars, sharing stories and laughter despite the looming threat, Alex felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, with Mia by their side, they really could protect Nova. But unknown to any of them, danger was already closing in. Far above the trees, a shadowy ship hovered silently, its sensors scanning the forest below. The Vorthak had arrived. The next morning, Alex woke up with a jolt, sunlight streaming through the cracks in their bedroom curtains. For a moment, they thought last night's events had been a dream, a vivid, impossible dream. But then they remembered the glowing figure lying unconscious on the forest floor and the strange, otherworldly ship resting in the crater. Panic bubbled inside them as reality sank in. After sneaking out of the house without waking their parents, Alex hurried back to the crash site, clutching a backpack filled with supplies. Bottled water, bandages, painkillers, and some snacks they'd swiped from the kitchen. When they arrived, the alien was still there, curled slightly on the ground like a wounded animal. Their shimmering skin flickered faintly, as though struggling to maintain its glow. Alex knelt beside them, heart racing. "Hey," they whispered softly, unsure if the alien could understand. The creature stirred, their large, luminous eyes fluttering open again. This time, they seemed more alert, studying Alex intently. Though no words were spoken, Alex felt an odd sense of calm wash over them, as if the alien's gaze carried a quiet reassurance. But communication was tricky. Alex tried speaking slowly, enunciating each word carefully. "My name is Alex. Can you talk?" The alien tilted their head slightly, as though confused by the concept of speech. Instead of answering verbally, they raised a trembling hand and touched Alex's arm. A warm sensation spread through Alex's body, accompanied by a series of images flashing in their mind. Stars swirling together, planets spinning, and a vast, dark void filled with menacing shapes. It was overwhelming, but not frightening. Alex realized these weren't just random pictures. They were memories. When the vision faded, Alex took a shaky breath. "Okay, so we're doing this without words," they muttered to themselves. Determined to find another way to communicate, Alex grabbed a stick and began drawing symbols in the dirt. They started simple: a circle for the sun, a squiggly line for water, and a stick figure to represent a person. To their surprise, the alien responded by tracing glowing patterns on the ground with their finger. The lines formed intricate shapes that pulsed with light, shifting and changing like constellations in motion. Over the next few hours, Alex learned bits and pieces about the alien. Through gestures, drawings, and shared visions, they pieced together that her name, or at least what she wanted to be called, was Nova. She came from a distant world, one far beyond anything Alex had ever imagined. Her people lived among the stars, traveling peacefully between planets, but something had gone wrong. Something dangerous. Nova's hands trembled as she drew jagged shapes in the air, mimicking claws or teeth. Whatever it was, it terrified her. Alex nodded slowly, trying to show understanding. "You're safe here," they said firmly, even though they weren't entirely sure that was true. "I'll help you." As the day wore on, Alex noticed Nova growing weaker. Her glow dimmed, and her movements became slower. Whatever injuries she'd sustained during the crash needed attention, and fast. Alex rummaged through the backpack, pulling out the bandages and water. Gently, they cleaned the cuts on Nova's arms and legs, marveling at how smooth and cool her skin felt beneath their fingers. Nova watched silently, her expression unreadable but somehow grateful. When Alex finished tending to her wounds, she reached out hesitantly, placing her hand over Alex's. Again, warmth surged through them, stronger this time. It wasn't just physical. It felt like trust, like gratitude, like the beginning of something extraordinary. For the first time, Alex allowed themselves to hope. Maybe, just maybe, helping Nova wouldn't end in disaster. Maybe this strange, glowing girl from the stars would become more than just a mystery. Maybe she'd become a friend. And maybe, just maybe, Alex's quiet little life in Silverpine was about to get a whole lot bigger. The aftermath of the explosion left them adrift in silence, the dying star casting a blood-red glow over the asteroid field. Nova's ship drifted aimlessly, its systems flickering as if struggling to stay alive. Inside, Alex and Mia sat beside Nova, their faces pale with exhaustion, but tinged with triumph. The Vorthak had retreated, for now, but the cost of their victory weighed heavily on all of them. Nova was fading. Her once brilliant glow had dimmed to a faint shimmer, her movements slow and labored. She reached out weakly, placing her hand over Alex's. A flood of emotions surged through their bond. Gratitude, sorrow, and an unspoken goodbye. Alex clenched their fists, fighting back tears. "There has to be something we can do," they said, their voice breaking. "We can't just let you leave like this." Nova shook her head gently, her glowing patterns forming images of her homeworld. She showed Alex and Mia her people rebuilding after the devastation caused by the Vorthak, their resilience shining like stars in the darkness. Then she turned those images inward, focusing on Alex. Through their connection, Alex understood. Nova's sacrifice hadn't been in vain. By destroying the tracker and forcing the Vorthak to retreat, She'd given her people and Earth a fighting chance. But Nova wasn't ready to give up entirely. With the last reserves of her energy, she created something extraordinary. From her palm emerged a shard of crystalline light, pulsing softly with her essence. She pressed it into Alex's hand, closing their fingers around it. The warmth spread through Alex instantly, filling them with memories of their journey together. The crash site under the moonlight, the glowing patterns in the dirt, the leap through hyperspace. It was a piece of Nova herself, a reminder of their bond. "You're leaving," Alex whispered, clutching the shard tightly. "But you're staying too." Nova nodded, her smile both sad and serene. She gestured toward the stars, signaling that it was time for her to return to her people. Though weakened, she still had a role to play in the fight against the Vorthak. And Alex, they had a role too, one rooted firmly on Earth. With great effort, Nova guided her ship toward a distant point in space, activating what little power remained. The engines roared to life one final time, propelling them toward a swirling portal of light. As they approached, Alex and Mia exchanged a glance, knowing this was where they would part ways. "I'll never forget you," Alex said, their voice choked with emotion. Nova hummed softly, her glow brightening momentarily. She touched Alex's cheek, her touch lighter than air yet heavier than words. Then, without hesitation, she stepped into the portal, disappearing into the vastness of space. The ship fell silent, the portal closing behind her. For a long moment, Alex and Mia simply stared at the emptiness where Nova had been. Finally, Mia placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. "She's gone," she said softly. "But she gave us everything we need to keep going." Alex looked down at the shard in their hand, its light steady and unwavering. They felt Nova's presence still, a quiet reassurance that their bond transcended distance and time. Together, they set course for Earth, determined to honor her sacrifice. Back home, life resumed its ordinary rhythm, but nothing felt quite the same. Alex carried the shard everywhere, drawing strength from it when doubts crept in. They shared stories of Nova with Mia, vowing to protect their world from threats beyond the stars. Though the Vorthak's shadow loomed large, so did the hope ignited by Nova's courage. And somewhere among the stars, Nova continued her fight, knowing she wasn't alone. Their connection defied galaxies, proving that even in the face of impossible odds, bonds forged in trust and friendship could shine brighter than any sun. As Alex gazed up at the night sky, they smiled. Someday they'd see Nova again. Until then, they carried her light within them, a beacon guiding them forward. No matter how far, the stars stretched ahead. Nova's ship streaked through the sky, leaving trails of shimmering light in its wake. The Vorthak pursued relentlessly, their sleek, angular ships cutting through the atmosphere like blades. Alex and Mia stood frozen in the clearing, watching as the chase unfolded above them. For a moment, it seemed like Nova might escape, but then one of the Vorthak ships fired a bolt of energy that clipped her craft, sending sparks flying. "She's hit," Alex cried out, their heart pounding. They clenched their fists, feeling powerless as they watched Nova's ship veer off course, struggling to stay airborne. The Vorthak closed in, their movements precise and predatory, surrounding her from all sides. Mia grabbed Alex's arm, pulling them toward the trees. "We can't just stand here. If they follow her back down, they'll find us." Alex hesitated, torn between fear for their own safety and the urge to help Nova. But before they could decide, something unexpected happened. Nova's ship suddenly flared with an intense burst of light, momentarily blinding the Vorthak. Using the distraction, she activated her hyperdrive, a risky maneuver given the damage to her ship, and vanished into hyperspace with a deafening boom. The forest fell silent, save for the faint hum of the Vorthak ships hovering uncertainly where Nova had been moments earlier. It was clear they hadn't expected her to escape so decisively. After a tense pause, the alien vessels began scanning the area, their sensors sweeping through the woods below. "They're looking for her," Mia whispered, her voice trembling. Or maybe, us. Alex nodded grimly, realizing the danger wasn't over. Nova had drawn the Vorthak away temporarily, but they were still on Earth. And now, they were searching. Without wasting another second, Alex and Mia sprinted deeper into the forest, putting as much distance between themselves and the crash site as possible. For hours, they'd moved silently, avoiding open spaces and sticking to the shadows. Every sound, the rustle of leaves, the snap of a twig, made them jump, convinced the Vorthak were closing in. By the time dawn broke, exhaustion weighed heavily on both of them. They collapsed beneath the shelter of a large oak tree, catching their breath while trying to piece together what to do next. "We can't go home," Maya said finally, breaking the silence. "If they track us there." "I know," Alex replied, rubbing their temples. Their mind raced with possibilities, none of them good. Staying hidden wasn't a long-term solution, but neither was confronting the Vorthak head-on. They needed answers, and fast. As if responding to their thoughts, Alex felt a strange warmth spread through their chest. It was faint at first, almost imperceptible, but it grew stronger until they recognized it. Nova's presence. Though miles apart, their bond remained intact, connecting them across space. Images flooded Alex's mind. Nova floating in the void of hyperspace, her ship battered but functional. She was safe, for now. But there was something else too. A tracker embedded in her ship, glowing ominously. The Vorthak would use it to follow her wherever she went. "We have to warn her," Alex said urgently, turning to Mia. "She doesn't know they tagged her ship." "But how?" Maya asked, frustration creeping into her voice. "We're stuck here, and she's who knows where." Alex thought hard, their mind racing. Then an idea struck them, one born of desperation but fueled by hope. "Her energy," Alex said slowly, recalling the connection they'd shared. "When I touched her ship, I felt it. It's like part of her is still with me. Maybe I can reach her somehow." Mia stared at Alex, skepticism written all over her face. "You're talking about some kind of telepathic alien communication. Are you serious?" "It's our only shot," Alex insisted, their voice steady despite the uncertainty gnawing at them. Closing their eyes, they focused on the warmth in their chest, letting it guide them. Slowly, images began to form in their mind. Nova's glowing patterns, her melodic hums. Alex reached out mentally, willing her to hear them. At first, there was nothing but static. But then, faintly, they felt a response. A pulse of light, a soft hum. It was Nova. She understood. "She feels it," Alex whispered, opening their eyes. "She knows about the tracker." Mia let out a shaky breath, shaking her head in disbelief. "This is insane. Absolutely insane." But Alex didn't care. For the first time since the Vorthak arrived, they felt a spark of hope. Together, they hatched a plan. Nova would lead the Vorthak far from Earth, buying them time to figure out how to disable the tracker permanently. It was dangerous, yes, but it was also their best chance. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Alex looked up at the stars, their resolve strengthening. No matter where Nova was, no matter how far apart they were, their bond endured. And